Well, here we are in May, June of 2021, and Harbor Freight has come up with yet another new generator. So this is the Predator 1800 starting 1400 running watts generator. Here's the Predator 1800 all taken out of its box. You have the main generator unit, which we'll look at, and then the contents. You have a manual, a 12 volt plug to the battery clamps, and then there we have an interesting choice design this time around, and that's for your oil. And then there is a spark plug adapter remover, I should say, spark plug remover. So simple contents. This is interesting. We'll look at this more in a minute. And then onto the generator itself. So I'm calling it the Predator 1800, but as you can see here, it's 1800 starting, 1400 watts running. So looking at the front of it, it does have an indicator up here that tells you there's a carbon monoxide alert and it's shutting off for that reason. It's great if somebody forgets and runs it in their garage. It also has a oil alert, so if you're low on oil, you have your on-off switch for starting, stopping, and then you have a DC breaker here, so there's a push button under that nice water resistant cover, and then like an automotive 12 volt plug. That's interesting. That's not normally how they do it, but it's actually probably more useful. So you could plug in a USB to 12 volt adapter there and charge your phone, or you could use these battery clamps. Okay, and then it has a voltmeter, which that's a cool thing, interesting choice. And I guess you can keep an eye and make sure your generator is putting out the right voltage. You don't see those that often. And then we have a reset for the 120 volt outlets, a ground lug so you can ground it, and then underneath this water resistant cover here are the outlets, and it looks like they put 20 amp connectors, if you can see that well enough. I'm not sure that that's needed, but it's nice to have. So that's kind of it for the front facing items. I see that underneath they had some cardboard packing that I didn't remove yet, so we'll get that out of there. All right, let's take a look at the other sides here next. So looking at the back of the unit here, so opposite side of where we were just at, not really a lot of user interface items, but you can see here we've got the exhaust or the muffler on this side. And then the oil fill is back here. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but maybe hand for perspective. It's a pretty good distance back. So that's probably why this included funnel has that nice long bit of surgical tubing so you can get back in there. You'll definitely want to use this. So that's your oil fill. And then moving to the other side, we have the pull start handle here. And then if you can see here, there is the choke. So you have a run start position on the choke. And then here's something I was surprised to see, and it's great. This lever here is your fuel on off. Let's see if I can get that focused better for you. So you can actually turn your fuel off, which is great. At the end of the season, I like to be sure to run it dry of fuel, at least in the lines, and that's a great way to do that if you haven't quite run out in the tank. Okay, so those are the other two sides. So big thing on the back, you got your pull start, you got your choke, your choke's up here, this silver, and then your fuel. So that leaves one place remaining, and that's the fuel tank and the top here. So they really outdid themselves with features for something like this low price point. So you do have a fuel gauge here, so you know how much fuel is remaining. And then fuel cap here. So they have it taped up so you remember to change, add oil and remove the packing material that I showed you is under the unit. So good looking unit here. So let me get some of that packing material removed and work on the oil. So I did want to quickly go over some bullet points on this generator, the Predator 1800. So this is a 60-pound unit. Very manageable, but it's heavy. And they do make a wheel kit for it, which right now I think sells for $35. You might want to get it if you're going to move it around a lot. If this is a stationary unit, like you're going to park it outside your cabin, or you're really not going to move it much, then you don't need the wheel kit. But it is heavy. And if you were debating between this and, say, a portable generator, like the Predator 2000 or Predator 1400 ultra portables, they're going to be a lot lighter, easier on your back if you're moving them a lot. The fuel tank is sized to give you 9 hours of runtime, and that's at about 50% load. It's got the carbon monoxide shut-off safety feature. It's a little bit water resistant with the nice covers over all of the power outlets, and then also over the reset buttons. But I sure wouldn't leave it in the rain. It's got the low oil indicator shutdown. It's got that voltmeter. It's got the fuel cutoff option, so you can turn the fuel off. It does have a fuel gauge. So for a low-priced generator, I think it's going for about $279 right now. It really has a lot of features. Small tip. You're presented with this tag that says remove orange shipping brackets and block from under frame. Basically, you don't do this, your warranty's void. Looking at the unit here, they're not orange, they're yellow. The blocks are easy to identify, they're wood, and I've removed those. But a little tip, this yellow bracket here is what they're talking about. Just before we put some oil in here, I wanted to show you the gas cap. And I think they just kind of did a good job here. They paid attention and already loosened that, but they have a chain so you don't run off and lose your cap. And then inside here, let me focus this for you. They do have a nice filter. So if you have crud in your gas, it'll get caught up there in the filter. So those are just little extras that they could probably get away with not doing, but people enjoy and appreciate the quality. So back to the oil. So I've got some paper towels under the unit, getting ready. There's the oil fill. Pull out that dipstick. So there's the dipstick. It's actually got a fair bit of oil on it. You can almost see that it left some drops there on the paper towel. It's empty of oil now, but that probably means they tested it at the factory. Pretty common. So then over here on the manual, we'll focus this in. Pretty simple. They say fill it with SAE 10W30, but you can look at the viscosity chart for your area. Any tips on the oil? So basically you fill it until it shows up on the threads. This picture says it all right here. Just look at that, you get the point. Make sure you're on a flat surface when you're doing that, of course. Yeah, and then another look at that. Here we go. So basically the funnel for the oil. Nice long surgical tubing. We're going to just drop that in here and hold it like that. Who knows, maybe this will rest up here. Yep, and then we will fill it from there. All right, it sure had quite a bit of oil left in it. Probably a good thing. All right, let me get to that. Okay, so The oil's been added. I have set the choke and I have opened the fuel. I added a little bit of fuel and now I'm going to give it a start. I apologize, I do my own stunts here, no cameraman, so I will hold the phone as I tape, as I record. Very impressive. That was a true one full start. I am not kidding about that. Right out of the box, one full. I used ethanol-free stabilized fuel that's about 7 months old, and nothing else special. So right now I'm standing at about 10 feet. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm holding the phone at a 10 feet distance as I record. Let me zoom in here. You can take a listen to that acoustic. I actually expected it to be a lot louder. There is no eco mode. So no eco mode on this generator. This is kind of maybe what you get. Well, I have plugged in a work light, using a work light to illuminate a little bit the generator. Well, I thought I would just show you kind of a side-by-side with the Predator 1800 open frame generator there in the middle, next to the Predator 1400 on the left, and the Predator 2000 on the right, just for size comparison. And I've also put the Predator 1800 in the middle there on top of a dolly from Harbor Freight, which is a great way to move it around the shop. You know, all in all, really happy with this Predator 1800 generator. I'm going to use it for applications where I don't need a lot of portability. Maybe I lock it up at the end of using it for a week at the cabin, but I'm definitely not going to lug it around. It's going to be more for stationary use. And overall, the acoustics aren't bad. I mean, the Predator 2000 and 1400, they're amazing acoustics. You can check out my other videos on that. But the 1800, for an open frame, $279 generator, priced in 2021 June. Can't beat it. So I recommend it, and they earned it. I would never steer you wrong on that. It's a good generator. So I'll give it some more abuse and see how it does, and if there's any issues, I'll be sure to let you know. Okay, thanks for watching.